What's going on, everybody? This is Al coming back to you with another Resident Evil 2 Remake benchmark video. In today's video, we're going to be using a very old AMD graphics card. It's a MSI Radeon HDR 5870 1GB DDR5 graphics card. This particular one came out back in 2010. That's right, going to be just about 9 years ago next month or so. Yes, for those of you that are not aware, the Resident Evil 2 is a very well optimized game, and it runs just about on any decent DirectX 11 GPU. So in this case, we were able to run this game on 1080p with pretty decent frame rates. So without further ado, let's begin. Also, this specific card is very good. It's an MSI Twin Frost 2. It's a dual fan card, and it keeps very cool for especially an old graphics card. And this is all original. It was never opened, and the thermal paste was not changed. And the other thing is, I was able to overclock it slightly, 50 megahertz on the core clock and 1,100 megahertz on the core clock. As you could see, these are the actual megahertz on the core and the memory. And here we're starting on 1080p, and again, I'm only gonna test this game on 1080p, nothing less. So let's go over the options. Here it is. And being already on the very lowest, pretty much the lowest options you could get, it's already in the red, as you only have 1 GB of memory here to play with. But don't be fooled by that. It's very playable, and we could actually increase some of the settings. So we're gonna run right now with interlace. And something very important when you're gonna use this old card that I figured out here, everything is turned off except shadow cache. Now usually I would turn that off too to get the most possible frame rates, but watch what happens here. Hold on. The frame rates actually drop. So that's one thing you would definitely keep on. Let me just go back to that. Where is that? Keep that on. That's right. And then there's one more option that turns everything into green. Let me just... There it is. Screen space reflection. Though it does not make you lose much frames, but if it's on, and that's why I was worried when I first fired this up, when it had this setting on, I'm like, what is this green particle? Is this graphics card is all messed up? But no, once I went down the line, look at that, look at this wall right here, it's crazy looking. So once I went down the line here and played with the settings, I realized that this option here definitely has to be off, and that's it. So let's check this game out right now on the lowest settings, and we could add a couple of things and see what we could do. Actually, I want to get a different weapon. Oh, it's too late. As you could see, in some of the rooms, you could actually get 50 FPS in some areas. Let's take a look again. Now that's an interlace. That's absolutely lowest quality graphics. Let's go ahead and turn it onto normal, and it's gonna drop a little, but with normal everything smooths out and looks a lot better. I mean, even with such an old card, you have plenty of options. You could play around with a lot of settings here. And I forgot to mention, I am using a fairly modern platform, which is an i5 8400, which is a 6-core processor. So you're pretty much getting the most out of this graphics card. And you gotta have a strong enough power supply. I got a 550 here. That's, you know, 80 plus rated. That's, you know, cutting it kind of close, but for this test, it's good enough. It looks like. So that's on normal there. On the lowest normal. Now let's go to interlace, and let's go ahead and turn a couple of these options on and make it a little smoother looking. Okay, let's go medium here, medium there. Yep, medium there. Yep, oh no, remember that option is no good. You could say, like, let's see, no, that's too high. Let's do medium. You could say that, like, this is medium settings on 1080p, more or less. Look at that, we're already at 2 gigabytes. So yeah, that's pretty much like medium settings. And let's see if this game is playable. Yeah, it looks better. Well, as you guys can see, a 9-year-old graphics card could play the latest Resident Evil remake. It's very compatible. This card has a lot of potential. Unfortunately, with some of the newer games, they have the newer DirectX 11 drivers, and you know, you're not able to use the old hardware. But if they were more compatible, I really think that this card could handle a lot more of the newer titles, at least on the lowest 1080p settings. You know, you can't even get this performance on some of the integrated graphics cards on some of the processors that just came out recently, you know, so this is still pretty good. Now, of course, I am curious, I have 2 of these, how this thing would run on Crossfire, and if it's even possible. I don't even know if it's compatible to Crossfire, this game. I know it is SLI compatible. Man, I might have to give that a try one day. Oh, he's still up, huh? That's better off just popping one of the arms and legs. Yeah, so on medium it's quite playable. Let me just see something. We're gonna do one more try. I think I put motion blur on. That we don't need. Yeah, where are you? Yeah, well, that we don't need. That's a pretty big loss there. And to conclude this final test, we're gonna go ahead and put rendering mode onto normal. It's gonna drop noticeably, but at this point now, the game looks really good. But wow, the frame rate's dropped quite a bit here. Maybe we could maybe turn some things down. Does that do anything? Mesh quality, and maybe this slow here. Let's see if we get a little bit better. Well, on normal it does drop quite a bit. Yep, that's it, guys, and that's the conclusion for our today's test of Resident Evil 2. Stay tuned for the next old graphics card coming up.